Raymond. Welcome, Raymond. Mujuni, I hope you do a great job as usual. After my small remarks, brief remarks, I would like you to introduce yourself briefly to the members and see how we can catch up. Now, we have gone through a major exercise for the last 1 month or so. And this is the tail end. Tomorrow we shall be going for voting. Now the voting, let me take this opportunity to say a little bit about the voting. We are going to do it electronically. So whoever has, all those who are fully paid up, will get codes from their phones to enable them to activate the voting electronically. So as soon as, the course of this tonight, we shall share out the codes individually so that you can get acquainted. And tomorrow at 11 a.m., that's when we shall open up the polling, the voting. Yeah, and so I hope that will be fine for everyone. Now, I congratulate those who are elected unopposed. That was a good thing. Of course, we would have preferred to have a lot of competition like we had yesterday, but that was the choice of the members. So I congratulate the members who went through, who sailed through unopposed. We would have had all the members, all those who have sailed through unopposed, to have briefed the members on who they are, but we shall do that. We shall do that tomorrow. So we elected to have the president, the vice president, and the secretary general to make their to let themselves known to the members. So tonight we shall have the president, the vice president, and the secretary general, and under the good hands of Mujuni Raymond. So welcome, members, and I wish you a very good evening. Thank you. I hand over to Raymond Mujuni, and thank you for accepting to moderate.
All right. Thank you so much, Chairman, for your opening remarks and for really setting us off on what promises to be a very exciting evening. I have a very simple task here today, which is to ask some questions to the people that have sailed through unopposed. And I see that some of them are already on the call. But before we get down to that, I wanted to start by asking them to introduce themselves and give us a brief statement. So I'll basically start with Irene Nakasita, the president, then we'll go to Ronald Bainomjisha, the vice president, and then we'll come to Stella Marion Atieno. So I think I'd give the floor immediately to Irene to just briefly introduce yourself to us. Give us a statement about what your candidacy looks like and what will be your key focus during your term. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raymond. I don't know if my video is clear. I don't know if my audio is clear as well.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I'm speaking from the land of oil and the oil city of Hoima, where I came today to witness the opening of the regional blood bank here. So I'm still stuck here, and I hope the Q&A can go on for at least the next 1 hour or so or less, so that I can also be able to travel back to Kampala. So thank you for having me, and thank you, Chair Mr. Juma, for organizing this, and also the Secretariat at PRAU. My name is Irene Nakasita, and I work for the Uganda Red Cross Society currently as a Director of Communication, Resource Mobilization, and Strategic Partnerships, a role that I've done for the last 5 years. Before that, still I worked with the Uganda Red Cross Society, but in a different capacity, but still under the Directorate of Communication and Public Relations. I've done work for only organizations. My work has been in the NGO sector. I've not been in the private sector. I worked for World Vision Uganda before coming to the Red Cross as a major donor relations coordinator. And I also worked for Compassion International Uganda, and those two are child-focused organizations. In Compassion, I worked as a sponsor and donor services associate, where my work used to be basically to link the sponsors and their children, basically comms work related. And with World Vision, I did do fundraising work where I was a major voice for children in poverty, and also fundraising with the major donors of World Vision USA. So I used to engage major donors to be able to fund Uganda, but specifically fund World Vision Uganda programs. So my work has been basically around advocacy, around communication, around public relations for the last 15 years. And that's the kind of wealth of knowledge that I have in the field of communication. And basically, I've never been well, I used to be in PRAU before, but I wasn't really an active member until when I joined the Red Cross. I realized the need for me to register Uganda Red Cross as a member of PRAU, so that one, I uplift my brand and organization, but also two, position the Uganda Red Cross looking at what it had gone through before I joined it. I realized the need to grow the communication and public relations function at Uganda Red Cross Society as a way of growing the brand and also helping it to recover from a crisis that it was in. So in brief, Raymond, that is me, and I'm ready to take on the role as presidency and lead the association alongside the GISI and also the outgoing team. I know President Tina will by default be part of us, will be supporting us and working a journey with us of mentorship and support, considering that I think by constitution, the president remains part of the outgoing president remains part of the GISI. So I look forward to serving and also doing my best. So at an opportune time, I'll be able to delve deep into the details of what it will look like for me during my term of office. I thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Irene. And I think that's a very good place to start. I'm going to ask Ronald Bainomjisha to give us his opening remarks and a bit about his introduction and what he intends to do with his term of office. And then we'll do Stella, and then we'll get into the question session.
Thank you so much, Raymond. I am Ronald Bainomjisha Katunji. I must say I'm glad and happy to be part of this conversation. And I appreciate the Electoral Committee for vetting me to be part of the incoming Governing Council. I am Ronald, like I mentioned. I currently have a baby, a PRAU called the Wine Brand Masters. But what brings me to PRAU, I have gathered enough experience from associations before going to my baby, the PRAU. I've worked as the CEO, Executive Secretary for the Uganda Society of Architects, where I have learned how associations work. I also currently sit on the Governing Council for the UCU Alumni Association as Secretary General. Before that, I was part of the consultants that rebranded Victoria University to where it is now. And also before that, I worked as the public relations officer for Uganda Christian University Kawale campus. I also got a chance to be in class to teach as a teaching assistant for 4 years. So I speak from a hands-on experience, having gone through 3 years of training as a student, and also having got a chance to teach, but also gladly to practice the theory that I have learned. And out of experience, the association, I think the founding fathers of PRAU had a vision. And time is now that we rethink and redefine the future of PRAU. What is it that brings Ronald Benomjisha to the Governing Council. Even before, maybe the time will be there, but I want to say, even as I make my remarks, that PRAU will be great because we will push to be among policymakers, be in boardrooms where decisions that affect our profession are made, not to leave communication and PR to whom it may concern, but to re-engage, to have a status as a professional body established by the Act of Parliament. I want to say thank you so much, Raymond and PRAU, the entire Secretariat and the outgoing Governing Council for this great evening. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ronald, and this is a really delightful evening. I am amazed by your bow tie. It sends the right message for the evening. Stella, would you like to now make your introduction and brief remarks about yourself?
Sure. Excuse me. Good evening, Raymond. Good evening, Chairperson Electoral Commission. Good evening, outgoing and incoming president and all the members present. Stella Marion Athieno is my name. I am currently the outgoing PR director. I served under Tina Wamala's regime and it was a great team to work with. And I decided I still need to serve the association, hence running to become the Secretary General one more time. My history with PRAU goes way back when I was still at the university. I was interested in PR and I wanted to know, where do I start from? And that's how I came across PRAU. And over the years, I've served under different capacities. I was a student representative for Kampala International University, went on to serve with Chairperson Juma Walusimbi under the Electoral Commission for some time before switching to also become a GC member. Later on, of course, I became the PR representative or director, and now I'm back as the Secretary General. In terms of my work experience, I have worked with a couple of organizations, starting with the Kampala International University. Right after university, joined Uganda Red Cross Society, and I was happy that Irene Nakasita was one of my bosses. So I know I have the right team that I'm going to be working with. Later on, I went into in an agency, that's Hill and Knowlton Strategies, where I worked for over 6 years before going into private consultancy. And that's what I've been doing for quite a while now. So I've been practicing PR for over 10 years. And in that role, I've been able to interact with the different facets of PR, from crisis, stakeholder engagement, internal comms, branding, you name it. So I believe that experience is going to help me even as I embark in this new office to bring about the changes that we would like to see and to move PRAU to the direction that we all wanted. Besides practicing PR professionally, I also lecture at Uganda Management Institute. I teach CIPR, which is a certification course for PR professionals. And in there, I'm able to interact with very many aspiring and already practicing PR professionals that we always encourage to join PRAU. So I intend to use all the different platforms that I have, one, to push the profile of PRAU in the different spaces and make the association great, because we all love PRAU and would like to see it win. It's among the oldest associations in the country. Moving on, working with, of course, the president, aligning our agendas with the rest of the team. As the Secretary General, I would like to see more structure in the Secretariat, and this will bring about sustainability in how we do work as an association. Because the GC is there to guide how things should be in the association. So it's important that even when there is change in the GC, there's a team that always remains on ground to ensure there's work continuity and also bring about more structure in how we do work. So effective management, and then also encourage resource mobilization. I believe that once we have more hands on deck, it will be easy to also ensure that we are able to mobilize more resources as an organization or association, but also establish clear governance structures to ensure that there is, to enhance decision-making and accountability over time. So I am happy that I've been given a chance to serve again. And today I am here to appreciate the members, but also seek their support as we embark on a new term. Thank you, Raymond.
All right. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much, Ronald. And also thank you so much to President Irene Nakasita. And I think I'll start with President Irene Nakasita to help the members understand. I've had a chance to look at your manifesto. I've also had a chance to look at PRAU, its history, its vision and mission. And I'd like maybe to first find out, when you outline what you'd say will be the major goals of your presidency, what are the 3 big outcomes that members would hold you to in 2027 when the presidency finally comes to an end?
Thank you so much. I think I'll really go straight into responding to that question. Well, for me, I want to look at, I know that the outgoing team will make a handover report to us, and that should basically lay foundation for us to begin with, and also look at the strategic plan. What does it ask us to do, and where are we? And then we can devise means of getting beyond where the team will have ended at. But most importantly for me, I want to look at our bill, the PRAU bill, because I know it's not yet assented to. And I know that discussions with parliamentarians have not yet been concluded. So it's one thing that I want to start with, ensuring that PRAU has a bill that is out, assented to by the president of Uganda, and then we can have a clear bill that guides our work in Uganda. We are a profession, and we are a professional body that is quite old. I got to learn that we've been in existence for the last 50 years. That is a very long time for us not to have a bill in place. So it's at the heart and the center of what I envisage to start with when I enter office. And I expect to sit with President Tina and of course get to understand where they are at the moment. And of course, I know it's very tiring and it's a tiresome process. Getting those legislators is very difficult, but it's one thing that I know I have experience with and I would like to pursue so that at least we get our bill out. The other thing I want to see is it may be in the long run, but it's our home, PRAU home. I know we are renting right now, and for me, I would even wish that we do not rent any premise. If there's an opportunity for maybe our mother ministry to house us, that would be okay and better. But if we have an opportunity of getting somewhere where we can have an office, and then we save that money that we are spending on rent, so that we put it on an account and also raise resources so that PRAU can get its home, for me, that would be a dream come true. So whichever level of building block I will have made onto that process, I'll also count it an achievement during my time in office. The other one is resource mobilization, because I know we need money on a day-to-day to run the association. I know many companies may get tired of saying they are sponsors, but it's one thing that we need to do, knock on the doors of those entities that are willing to contribute to PRAU activities and make sure at least we raise a substantive amount of money that can sustain our operations. I know that, I don't know how many people Roland works with, but I see he most of the time working alone, but I would wish to see that PRAU has maybe like a management team of sorts and then the GC can serve as maybe like a board of sorts, so that at least we know there are people running the association and there are professional people supporting with the day-to-day operation of the association, because all of us are volunteers, I know, and we have our full-time jobs. So we may not have all the time to sit and be running association work, but if we have professional people in the office who can support us with day-to-day operations, we can fundraise, I mean, get the money and then sustain them in the office, and they support us with administration. The other thing that I've seen and I've always complained about as an individual, I remember raising it to President Tina, was how do we add value to our membership? For example, all of us, when we pay money, I used to ask, when we pay the subscription fees, what does it do? Yeah, so it has always puzzled me. You pay money, but then every other activity we do, we have to pay again. So I would always wonder, why do we have to keep paying? But I think with time, I've gotten to appreciate that this is money that sustains the association. But for me, I would wish to see that we add value to our membership card. If this person subscribes as a member of PRAU, what more do they get? What more do they benefit? If we got stronger partnerships, I believe we would be able to add value to our membership card. And then somebody knows, if I own a PRAU card, it can take me somewhere. Oh, this is the value it adds me. Take an example. If we got a partnership with maybe Uganda Airlines, and then we know airlines charges people on tickets. But then if a PRAU member comes and they have their PRAU number and PRAU membership and it is valid, maybe the entity can reduce for you on the money for that ticket. I mean, I'm looking at opportunities that we can tap into in the market for us to add value onto our membership card. And that is one way we can attract more people to subscribe, because if somebody knows that the card comes with a certain benefit, then that can be one way of bringing people on board to join as members. And being a membership association, we know that membership is one way of bringing in money. So we need to strengthen that area, the component. That could be just one example which I've shared, but I know if we sit with more people and put brains together, we can see how better to increase the value of our membership card, and then that is one way of attracting more people into the association. So you asked for about 3 or 4, so I think I can end at that, but those are some of the visions that I have when I take over the office. Thank you. Back to you, Raymond.
Thank you so much, Irene. I just wanted maybe to point out one thing that's at the top of your agenda, which is championing the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Parliament is a very intricate place. There are multiple interests, there are interlapping interests. How do you intend to make it the chief idea that Parliament deals with within your term of office? How are you going to convince members of Parliament that it's important and it must be dealt with urgently?
I think it starts with getting the right people on board. Yeah, I know this may be a private member's bill, if I'm not mistaken. So if we have somebody to move the motion for us, and then if we can also identify which particular committee will support us in doing the mobilization, I think we just need to get the right people to support us. We need to get the minister who supports, I think the Minister for Education could be, rather for information, is our patron. So we need to get the minister on board. Then also we may need to make strategic engagements with offices such as the Office of the Speaker, the Clerk of Parliament, and also whether Deputy Speaker or Speaker, but also important people like the Right Honorable Prime Minister. We can actually get some of those people to support us in mobilizing other members of Parliament. We can do small groups of engagements with these MPs, and I'm sure with time we can get there. I know they usually ask for money, but if we got the right people to walk the journey with us, I'm sure we can always get them. And once it enters the Parliament like this, I'm so sure we can get our way. It's costly, but I don't know how much money we have as PRAU at the moment, but with or without money, it is something that we need to pursue because we need it. But most importantly, getting the right people to support the cause. I know there are those MPs who might have been PR people before, or who are passionate about media and journalism and communication work as a profession. And I know they see the value of communication and journalism and how it supports them in doing their work. So it's a matter of packaging ourselves and packaging the communication and packaging the bill and getting them to interested so that they can support us. So I will not do this alone, basically. We will seek support of other people. I know there are likes of Helen, who are already in Parliament. They can always support us to get along and also know which people to contact and at what particular point in time of the bill processes. And I'm sure we will get there. Thank you, Raymond.
All right, thank you so much, Irene, for that. And maybe also if we could progress further in the conversation, and this is more from the problem side. What are some of the outstanding problems that you've seen in the association that you think require immediate help? And how would you help the members understand those problems and deal with them?
Well, I think one of the challenges that I've seen, they may not be so many, but one thing I've seen is a lack of engagement. I think there is a gap in engaging companies because we only meet or when there are events or when there are activities, and we are only written to around that time. So there is less membership engagement. And at one point, if somebody is not strong, they can easily pull out because if they don't see the value of why they need to be in the association, they can easily get lost. So I think one of the challenges is membership engagement and retention. And for me personally, I know many companies do not see the value of PR only until they get a crisis. Yeah, that's when they feel, the PR people should come, the communication person should come. But if only the association leadership would engage some of these company bosses, organizational CEOs and leadership and top management, then they would get to appreciate the value of public relations and how important it is in their companies and organizations. And I know many of my colleagues have complained about this before, that their jobs are not seen as boardroom jobs. And the only reason is MDs and top management, they have not realized and appreciated the role of public relations, not until they get crises. So there's that gap which we need to bridge as leaders of PRAU. We need to do more of engagement for these companies. But also why maybe many of them are not even subscribing is they haven't appreciated this to a greater extent and greater level. So it only takes a vibrant PR person to bring their management to appreciate the value of comms, both external and internal comms, beyond or outside a crisis. So it's one of the challenges I've seen. I've not really known of so many challenges, but at least the retention and engagement is a little weak. And I think we need to bridge that gap, Raymond. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Irene. I also wanted you to speak a very little bit about professional certification. Many members who are practicing, of course, want to advance in their careers, but also they want to get better at what they're doing. What is it that they can expect from your presidency with regards to professional certification, opportunities for that advancement, and what would you be doing in that regard?
Yeah, so I think we as a GISI, we need to sit and map entities that are doing these professional certifications and see how we can partner with them. I know in Uganda, it's UMI that is teaching CIPR, for example. Nairobi University has CIPR as a course. And there are other many short courses in public relations that we can explore if only we partnered with the right organizations and teaching institutions. I know Makerere University had attempted to do a partnership with PRAU, but I don't know how far it went. It's something I think we would wish to awaken so that people can know where they should. Actually, many people, for us in humanitarian work, we say some people's lives get lost simply because they don't know where to find information. Yeah. So information is a very strong tool and it's very powerful. So we need to know, we need to direct people to which universities they should go and for what particular certifications or what particular courses. So, and this will help them to improve their professional service and also be able to attain some of these certifications. I know it is also a little costly, but if we engaged companies and organizations and they appreciated why their people even need to onboard and get into these levels of certifications, I'm sure some of them would be willing to sponsor the students or the staff that they are employing in their communication and public relations departments. So I think for CPD development, Raymond, it's something that staff, rather practitioners, just need to be helped to appreciate and why they need such certifications to be able to grow in their profession and also climbing ladders in terms of their work and getting promotions. For example, myself, I think I so much looked forward to continued learning. And by the way, Raymond, I don't have, my first degree was not in communication. For your information, my first degree was in information technology. But then I had passion for communication and PR work, and the more education I pursued, is the more I grew in my career, and this is why I've gotten where I am because of our continued professional development. So I would love that my colleagues in their profession can actually, I don't want them, they may not emulate me, but it's something I want to interest them with, because the more you take on more certifications, the more you grow in the profession, and the more opportunities come your way in terms of promotions in your career. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Irene. Maybe my last question now before I bring Ronald into the conversation. And this relates to strategic partnerships that PRAU already has and that PRAU should get into. What are some of the strategic partnerships that you intend to maintain in your presidency or improve upon? And what are some of those that you intend to bring on board during your presidency?
Well, thank you so much. For starters, I would wish to first know the ones that the current GC has or the ones that are still ongoing, because I know MOUs or partnerships have timeframes. So I would wish to know the ones that are still on, those that have done well, and also see where to start from, or even add on more partnerships. I know we can do a mapping depending on the strategic plan that we have. What do we plan to do as PRAU, and then how shall we get there, or who are the partners that should support us to get there. So once that mapping is done, then we can start seeking partnerships with the different entities that we desire to help us to get where we want to be. So there is that level of analysis that I need to do when I get into office, and that should determine what particular partnerships we should seek, which ones we should drop, or which ones we should maintain, or which one we should even pursue more. There has to be that level of engagement, Raymond, over and over and all the time, because then we cannot do so much alone as PRAU. I know there are those that have been there for some time. There are those usual sponsors, for example, for most of the events that PRAU has, and there are those who sometimes come and then drop. So you may want to know, why did you drop this time? Is it only about money, or is something that was mismanaged with you? So there's that level of analysis that I need to do, which should inform what particular engagements we need to go into in terms of strategic partnerships and for what particular purpose. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Irene. We're going to get back to you. I'm sure members have more questions that they'd like to ask you. So we're going to get to some of those questions. But I wanted to bring Ronald into the conversation now. Ronald, what do you see your role as the Vice President? What do you see your role as in enabling Irene execute her mandate?
All right, thank you so much, Raymond. And let me appreciate my to-be boss, Her Excellency the President. She has so well articulated what the vision she has for the association. For the lack of a better word, our constitution is limited. It does mention the roles of the vice president, but only has 3 lines. Simply, in the absence of the president, the vice president takes over. So I just wanted to make this statement without fear of contradiction, that the president can count on me, that I will indeed put my weight to support her. And also to mention, I just wanted to elaborate on the importance of why PRAU should be established by the Act of Parliament. If I may, Raymond, expounding on the points of the president, because indeed we'll be working together to support the entire governing council, or to steer up the governing council. So if I may, if we borrow a leaf, I have been in associations, if we borrow a leaf from certified public accountants, the architects, the surveyors, the lawyers, what sets them apart is because they have been established by the Act of Parliament, meaning they have a board, they have a say, they have a regulator, they have a clear line of ministry. We have a clear line of ministry, which is the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. We have a regulator who is UCC, meaning we are good to go. Let me also give maybe the people who are on this call why we need to be established by the Act of Parliament. Friends, at the moment, we have to depend on the international universities and institutions for us to be certified as PRAUs. It's a shock. The certified public accountants have certified their own locally. The architects are certifying their own locally. The surveyors are doing the same. The lawyers, if you want to attain more international recognition, that's when you go international. So once we attain the Act of Parliament, it qualifies us to have an approved, licensed curriculum that we will engage in as PRAU and have our local people certified here in Uganda. Meaning if you leave the university, maybe after you will have 1 year to go through PRAU institution, probably there will be an institution of PRAU, where the students from the university will take on this local certification. Friends, we are talking about securing our space. The influencers have joined our space. The content creators have joined our space. Everyone is in our space. And should we leave communication and peer to make concern? So the efforts that Madam Tina and her team have put together to push this bill, I think if we must achieve one thing, the bill should be the one thing for us to achieve. The CPD she has talked about, at the moment, PRAU only gives a recommendation letter for you. It means even the organizations that add the clause that you must be a member of PRAU for you to be a communications officer for the organization, they are doing it in kind. It is just a favor. It's a bonus. But we have a blessing, friends. We have a blessing. The government okayed a policy, a directive to have all institutions have departments of PR, meaning we got a win. So it is us now to go back and say, you look here, this win that we got, if it is not regulated, if these people are not regulated, if these people are not looked at, there will be a problem now with AI here. So for me, that will be a plus, and I will be behind the president ensuring that we move. If it means banging some tables, probably this time it is business unusual. Maybe the PRAU the PRAU element needs to be off a little bit, and we face it unusual way and have it done. Since 1976, since 1976, friends, since 1976, friends, we are still here lamenting as just an association. Probably we need to stop being nice to each other and say if it is to bang tables, we are going to bang the tables. If we are to get CPD points, and I've seen it being practiced where I have been, the CPD points makes you an outstanding professional. At the end of the year, they are published. And whoever want to practice PR in this country, they will get a practicing certificate that is renewed based on the points that you have accumulated. But even if we engage in CPDs, I think that's why people are not interested. Even if we engage in CPDs, at the end of the day, so what? If we paid the membership, at the end of the day, so what? That's why the majority will not pay and a few people will not pay. Let me also shock you, friends, that even on this call, a very important call, we have only 23 of us. Is it the members are pathetical? Is it a rebellion? Is it a rebellion? Is it a coup? They don't want to be part of this. So that also speaks to you the interest that really the members have for their association. The visibility, friends, the visibility. How visible is PRAU? Is PRAU known to where you come from in Kigezi? The 4 years I was practicing from Kigezi, we didn't know much about PRAU. But just because I had come in 2014 as a student and visited the secretariat, I started asking many questions, participating in groups, but looking at how PRAU has not gone into the entire country. So if during the constitutional review that we will propose is to see the creation of clusters and chapters. And I'm not speaking this out of theory. I've planted chapters where I've been. Even now, the UCU've just finished elections for chapters. They report to the Governing Council. The Governing Council, of course, reports to the AGM. So the chapters play a big role. They have their own chair. They can organize their events. They can solicit for money. They can become a strong force that we can use. So friends, for me, I look at PRAU. This is the year where things must change. We have practical way of doing things and passionate way of doing things. And maybe Raymond, to finish, the engagement of people. We have many people with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. You can imagine the experience of the incoming president, the experience of the yet to be the IPP. But how do we tap into the experience? We've organized Twitter spaces every Friday to tap into people's wisdom and knowledge, to share with other members. I've seen our social media platforms. They have few people. They have few likes, meaning we are not yet authoritative. Even if we posted on our pages, maybe it could not reach many people. But with the engagement of Twitter spaces, maybe twice a month, bringing different people, panelists, means at the end of the year, you have had about 40 professionals speaking to people. We are talking about redefining public relations in this country. And of course, our YouTube pages where a lot of interaction could happen. People can be hosted there. Maybe some of their experiences could be played on the mainstream media. So I look at the engagement of people in a different angle. If people are not involved, you can be sure that people will not participate. For example, if Raymond, you are not called upon to moderate this session this evening, probably you wouldn't log into it. You wouldn't. But because people are involved, at the end of the day, they give in their contribution and what they think they can do for the association. So if to answer you briefly, I will be supporting the president to ensure that we steer the governing council and have a lot realized. Like I've mentioned, I just want to expand on some of the things that she has touched. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Ronald. You did mention a very interesting part in your presentation, and I want to draw you back to it on this new and emerging technology and the impact it will have on the association, on practitioners in the association. For example, there are many people now who think that they can artificially generate statements, for example, even in times of crisis, even for public relations strategies. What do you think that you as an association and as the vice president, what would you be offering your members to stay ahead of the curve, but also to offer value to the places where they work and to the clients that they deal with?
All right. Thank you so much, Raymond. If we must keep our space protected, we must work ahead. We need to prepare for the war before the war happens. If we must win, then we must, from my angle, we must train our members how to use and appreciate AI. Some of the members, of course, people have not adopted it. People think it is a copy and paste thing, but I've interacted with it. The videos it can create, the scripts it can write. It's a wonder. It's a wonder. So for me, I believe one of the things we need to focus on is to ensure that we train our people, they get exposed to it, they understand it, because look, friends, right now, anyone can become a public relations officer, a communications officer of whichever organization. Why? Because I think we've not taken up our space seriously to say, look here, there are certain things you need to do. So for the new technology, we have no excuses. We must adopt it. We must get involved and even ahead of time so that we keep our space protected. You've seen, for example, you've seen how the content creators have jumped on it and they're doing wonders there. The journalists are doing wonders there. So it is us now as the governing council to organize trainings, to organize events, and every event maybe you have a talk about it. And also, Raymond, to mention, I have been part of a curriculum review for many universities here that teach communication. And one of the things that I've seen, if we are not part of a team that reviews that curriculum, there are things we'll never get in there. So also lobbying to be part of the team, which would mean in our communication, Bachelor of Mass Communication, whatever they call it, should have AI should be introduced so that we prepare our generation, the coming generation, for the reality. The technology is here and is here to stay. We prepare them for the reality. And also, Raymond, to mention, if we are not part of the people that are reviewing the curriculum for communication, it means people will decide on our behalf. Have we been part of the new curriculum, for example, that is being established as PRAU? Have we been invited? For me, those are some of the things we need to lobby for. And also to mention to you, the best way to win is to be part of the winners. If we've started mentoring, where I sit, we've started mentoring our members to enter into politics. Journalists are entering politics. Comedians are entering politics. Musicians are entering politics. The communicators, what are we joining? But there must be mentorship. If we have mentored people to join politics, it means they'll be part of the parliament. It means they'll be part of the policymaker. When people are deciding on how communication should look like, we are part of it. We are part of it. So the new technology, having it embedded in a new curriculum, and of course with the influence of PRAU, that will make a huge difference. And of course to members who are already like me, that they have left class, probably engaging them in a number of trainings. Thank you so much. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Ronald. I think that answers my question. I want now to toss the question to Atieno, and really this is now for PRAU itself. Stella, I want to hear from you about curating members and making sure that members are involved in the activities of PRAU. And what do you intend to do as the Secretary General for that particular role? Because the strength of the association comes from the strength of its members.
Thank you, Raymond. First of all, I have to start by stating that my mandate is to execute the vision of the GC led by the president So it means as the GC members, we shall align on a shared vision so that my office is able to support the day-to-day operations under my office. So one of the things that's key, responding to your question, is membership engagement, and my office directly is in charge of that while working alongside the other GC members. We intend to align with the team and find opportunities that we can engage members on. Earlier on, the president spoke on some of the things that we need to do. For example, reigniting engagement with corporate members, the SMEs that are part of our membership and maybe have gone silent over time, members that are silent in the group. So we need to come up with engaging activities. And one of them may look like actually visiting them at their offices to just interact with them and find out what are their issues. How can we help them? How can they be a part of us? So it's gonna we are going to be doing a lot of stakeholder engagement. Some of them will be one-on-ones, some will be group engagements where we seek out certain organizations and sit down with them and just find out their pain points and find out how can we work better alongside them, and how can we bring them more value. Then also, as I was here, I was thinking, how do we even get more younger people on board, those that are already practicing PR and are new into the space, or those that are aspiring to actually join the association. One of the things that I know about our generation and maybe the Gen Zs is that we love fun. So how do we bring back fun to PR? So I'm thinking we need to find ways to incorporate the things that young people love and learning. So we need to incorporate, how do we learn in a fun way, moving away from the traditional way of learning or engaging. So in my head, I'm thinking we could do, how do we mix entertainment and learning at the same time, or an engaging stakeholders? How do we mix the two? Because there has to be a hook as to why people want to engage with you, besides just wanting to learn something from the association. There needs to be more. So PR people, we are known to be fun. So mine is, how do we bring back the fun? That's the most important question I have top mind. And it's a thing I have to deliberate with the new GC, and we find opportunities to incorporate fun in the things that we do. I won't speak much because the vice president already spoke extensively on the same issue, and also the president, but that's my biggest issue right now. How do we bring back fun to the association and recruit more younger members, aspiring members, and the younger generation, make PRAU fun again? Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Stella. I'm going to ask members now, if you have questions. We have the next 20 minutes for members' questions. So you just raise your hand, and then we'll be able to pick on you, and then you can ask your question directly to who you want to ask it to, and then the conversation can continue from there. But as the questions come, maybe to ask you, Irene, this was a non-contentious election. You're all unopposed. Are you comfortable with your vice president and secretary general and the manifesto that they've laid out before you? Are you positive that these are the people you want to serve with?
Yes, because for me, the fact that there's passion, the fact that they express themselves and picked nomination forms, it means they have the passion to serve. And I already mentioned to Raymond that our roles are voluntary, non-remunerated. So none of us expects a salary. I am already comfortable because I see they have passion, they have the zeal, they have come through, they have come out to express willingness to serve. So let's roll, let's get going. Yeah. Raymond, did I lose you or you lost me? Or
No,
are you
sorry,
mute?
I think I just lost a little bit of my connection there, but yes.
But did you get my response?
Yes, I did. I had it perfectly well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So if you have a question, please, now's the perfect time to maybe put up a hand and ask a question. And if you don't ask questions, then I will have to call on you one by. Oh yes, Jimmy Chiveru. If you can unmute and ask your question and who you're asking it to, and then Tadeo after Jimmy.
Thank you very much, Raymond, and wonderful to see the unopposed candidates. Well done. We're so proud of you, and we wish you a very successful GC term. I think I'll ask one question, which is generic to all the candidates. What I want, and maybe it will start with the president, and then it will go to the others, is what do you intend to do different from your predecessors and past GCs? Because it's nice to hear continuity. I've heard about the professionalization, which is, I think, something which has been around the last 4 or 5 GCs. We've talked about the PRAU home, and I think I remember about a little bit over 10 years ago, this was a topical subject, and I think land at some point was being sought actively. In now the upscale, the last time I was that side of town, I saw new buildings come up, but that time it looked like a village. Let's call it village. I think it must have been towards Bolindo or somewhere. I don't remember the place. But I just want to know what the 3 candidates intend to do differently. And please try to be original, not just what's already there, but what do you think you'll do to know that, yes, somebody has arrived with a bank. And maybe for the new president, Irene, congratulations. We are looking forward to your stewardship. My question to you, I think sometimes the leader tends to get the biggest shake. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about your leadership philosophy. And also, relatedly with that one, is how do you handle feedback? And I think the main question that I want you to maybe to tackle, and maybe also your colleagues could contribute to it, is how do you see PRAU contributing to thought leadership on issues that impact and shape public discourse on topical issues? Quite often when countries are at a stage in life, and I'll give an example of associations in countries like South Africa, countries like Kenya, countries like the others might not be locally relevant. You tend to see professional associations, the likes of PRAU, visibly upfront there, leading from the front by example and setting the tone. I think the nearest example here we can cite for us would be the Law Society. I think Raymond, you're a lawyer, and I think you know your colleagues, for example, across how they shape and literally come up and challenge even candidates, presidential candidates, and other national leaders. In Uganda, I don't think PRAU has got to that pedestal yet, but I would like you to just comment how you think you can change and make this, make PRAU also have impact on the local stage, a little bit like I think the Law Society has tried to do.
Okay. I think I'll even answer in reverse order. Thank you so much, Jimmy. I think Uganda, I will say yes and no. We are not yet there for starters, because I don't know whether it is because we don't have a bill yet. We are not like we don't have like a framework that can actually get us there. But also when you look at Ugandans, naturally, I don't think we are that caliber of people. Somebody talked about banging tables, but we are cowards. We are not the type that bangs tables per se. But also when you look at our government, in as much as we say there is peace, but I don't think there's that vacuum or that space within which we can play at that level. Yeah, in as much as we have the potential, if we were given an opportunity, I'm sure we would. But I think there also hasn't been any challenges or circumstances under which I think the PRAU could be engaged to reach that level that you're expecting us to be. But I'm so sure if we are given an opportunity, we have many people who can actually take up such roles and also maybe drive the country into that kind of direction. I would give an example. We are not the Black Monday style kind of people, you know, because one, if you know you attempt to do such a thing, you will be suppressed. Yeah, you'll be suppressed by the government. As long as you encroach on their space, they will come for you. So we are that, I think we are framed in such a manner that we feel sometimes we are either cowards or we just feel we need our peace and we don't want to really get dirty and soil our hands and also soil our names and brands whatsoever. It takes really individuals, I would say, not entities per se. You actually look at entities and attach faces to entities. I would say if it's an entity like the Law Society, you need to attach a face to that kind of a person who would bang the table. Yeah, I've seen different presidents for the Law Society before. I remember that the one that I can cite is President Fiona Wall. I think during her time there was no much controversy and banging of tables like it is right now with the current president, Semakade. So I'm sure it could be about individuals, about characters, and not the entity itself, in as much as these entities actually have their mandates. So it would be more of a mandate than the individual and what they are capable of doing. So I think I would answer you from such an angle. But in terms of what PRAU can actually contribute in terms of thought leadership, we have so many brilliant people, brilliant minds, very professional and experienced people in the profession. And I'm so sure if it were about leading developments on anything, we wouldn't fail as an entity. So it's about championing this and also having the strategic leadership ably available and in place. And as long as there is the will of the members, Jimmy, we have the potential and we can do all that you're actually talking about. Maybe in terms of how I handle feedback, well, I'm an extrovert. I'll mention that pronounced. I am an extrovert and I appreciate leadership, rather feedback. For those who have known me or have worked with me know that I love openness. I am one person who appreciates feedback in black and white. I am one Muganda that some people think is a Mchiga because I am straightforward. I always speak out and I give feedback in its raw form sometimes. So I appreciate somebody telling me here you are wrong, and I appreciate that I need to improve than actually cheering me on, yet I'm actually doing something wrong. So I handle feedback positively and I appreciate it in its raw form. Don't package it, don't wrap it around with any nice words. Pass it on to me the way you feel it should come to me so that I can know how to improve or even deal with it. Yeah, so in terms of what we'll do differently, for me, I believe in picking also the minds of the members. You see, this is the membership organization. Members may have ideas and plans that may actually mature if we give them time. Take an example. I was just thinking here alone. You know, we are an entity, we are a membership organization or association where we come through, just pay your membership, attend some of the events that are planned and go away. But how many members are we and what can we do together in terms of development and growth? Away from our career development and growth, can we do a saving scheme? How do we make money? How do we do business? You know, people might have business ideas, by the way. It may be a circle or something else. But then if we put our minds together and think together, these are members' ideas that we can actually think through and see if we can actually start something beyond just the campaign membership go away, you know, because then how do we engage as members? How do we keep together and how do we grow the association and also take it to greater heights? Every other day we are talking of, I just spoke about adding value to the membership card. When this person pays their membership money, take an example, a student. If a student pays the 50K and they join, and now we have maybe a symposium where they also have to pay another maybe 100,000, and they feel they can't afford, that student may just feel, bored, or they feel the association is for people who have the money, because whenever you don't have money, maybe you won't take part in an activity. But if we are able to make our own money and also sustain the association, see, if we had like a circle, we know that maybe we are saving money, but when members borrow the money, this money actually gives birth to more money, and then we are able to make savings, and those savings are invested, we can be assured of continuity in terms of the money that is raised from the circle. And then sometimes we can sponsor our own activities, sustain the team that is working at the association secretariat, and also be able to really keep together, because somebody knows they have an obligation, they have their money with you, that alone can actually compel them to keep coming to the association than only paying and then you sit back. So that engagement and retention, I feel it could be made a little better, but well, the members can suggest more ideas that we feel can add value to the association, and maybe that is one other way we can do differently or act differently beyond what our other predecessors have done. Thank you. I don't know, Jimmy, if you feel that I've responded to your satisfaction, but you can always still ask questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Irene. I think there was another hand from Tina. I don't know if she still has a question.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My question wasn't very different from Jimmy's. I put my hand down. It was mainly around legacy. Every GC has a legacy that they leave behind. So I'm just keen to hear from Irene, and perhaps maybe Ronald, on what is that legacy that they hope to leave behind when they leave office. Thank you.
So is it me still, or I can first give my colleagues the opportunity to speak because I've just spoken? The previous question was open to all of us. So I don't know, Raymond, if I can allow my other colleagues to speak first.
Yes, I think that, Ronald, do you want to go? Do you want to have a go at the question?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. That's a good question. And I want to appreciate the president elect for labeling to answer the questions. I just want to add a few points. Having been part of the associations, the professional associations that are walking the journey that we are walking as PRAU, I believe that things will be a bit different. I know in a governing council, we will always agree or disagree to agree, but I know at all points or at all, at any given time, we will always agree certain things and disagree to certain things. What I've seen practically that works and makes things different. Sometimes limitations come from the Constitution. If the Constitution does not allow the governing council to do certain things, no matter how you have the best people on the team, they will not do things. So we need to sit and review and look at how the Constitution was structured. It is old, it's an old thing, it's good but old. We need to get it to a level where we are now as a profession. And also to mention their policy. You see, associations, they have governance and administration. What makes most of the associations struggle is weakening the administration, which is the secretariat, the administration and management, which is the secretariat, and then empowering the governance, that is the governing council. But you remember, or you can be sure that all the people who are on the governing council are volunteers who have other things to do, meaning they are going to be so busy. So what have we done? What have we done? in other associations. And benchmarking is good. Is strengthening the secretariat so that whatever is agreed upon, there is a team that will surely implement. If I told, because I've been spearheading implementation at the at the Association of Architects, and I've seen how the entire governing council gives you the entire strategic plan, and every month you give a report how far you've gone with your team at the secretariat. Where we find, for example, the president running around with after sponsors, it might not be practically possible. But once the constitution allows the governing council to do certain things, and then there is empowerment of the administration at the secretariat, and then we have a team that implements, things will be different from how they have been. And also having working documents, policies that work, because if the constitution might not define everything in details, but what I've seen us do, and also other associations, what they are doing is to create, to come out with policies that work. Practically, if we talk about the PRAU home, we've spearheaded fundraising for many things I might not mention here. But the best way is to come up as a governing council and set dates and set where to move and have the fundraising for this house and happen. And good enough, this is an electioneering year. It means if we drum very well, we might get money and start building. But you see, it is one thing to put it into the strategic plan, but the other to have it achieved. If without fear of contradiction, if the implementation bit is a little bit shaky, and then the legacy the president asked about, for me, I would be happy if I see the bill, and I've said out of experience, I've seen how people have pushed their bills. First of all, it must be a good constitution that will really read through and you feel the constitution, because those are some of the preliminary stages. Identifying your line ministry, working with the likely to be your regulator, whom I think is UCC, and then of course working with the line ministry, because if it comes from the regulator and the line ministry, and friends, even before the bill comes, there are certain things that you do to show cause. For example, the spokesperson for all political parties, most of them are lawyers, but if PRAU called them for a pro bono workshop, we are showing cause. These are people who are speaking on behalf of people who sit in boardrooms where decisions are made. We are showing cause. If we wrote to the government, if we had stakeholder engagements and we meet people that matter, I don't know, we don't fear to meet certain people. If we have engagements with them and show them, yes, you provided for departments of communication, but look, they are masqueraders who are misinforming people. We are coming in good faith, in good faith to do some of these things to ensure that this profession indeed is protected from masqueraders. And then that could be a legacy to me. And then the membership bit, we talked about ensuring that the entire country participates in PRAU activities and we increase membership. I talked about the clusters, the chapters, the regional chapters in Western and Eastern, to ensure that we have a big force. And also to mention, before I move away, Uganda we like creating associations. We so much like it. For example, Association of Marketeers and Advertisers is supposed to be housed in PRAU. Probably now that they have changed the name to communication officers, probably people might come up and start Communication Officers Association of Uganda, because we like it. But you can imagine in Kenya, all professionals come together under one umbrella. I could also imagine if we had marketeers, advertisers, content creators, influencers, and communicators as a team, and we are pushing probably for this bill. One, the voice will be heard. Carry on, please. Our voice could be heard. That's what because we will have the numbers would have the numbers. So I think having discussions with other associations that are in line with what we do would also be a plus to me and a legacy to me. I've also seen Unopposed, the Uganda National Association of Builders, Suppliers, Contractors, Engineers. They have come together and they are doing well. They are pushing well. They shake this country because there are so many. But for us, if we want to keep alone, that means we will have to push. That's where money comes in, and the bill is not a simple thing financially to pull. But I'm looking at if the UCC is on board, and we're working with UCC to start, for example, having our members to have a short course in training after the university, pushing, for example, practicing certificate. Yet it is voluntary. It is not a must for you to have, but at least some people have. Publishing our membership list on our website for organizations. In case they want to recruit, they check. These are the people who subscribe, who are active members of PRAU. And people proudly are there. We've seen the architects publishing it every March in newspapers so that people can know who is doing what. It also puts out our members, profiling our members. I've not seen PRAU profile its members, and I think time is now that we need to profile our members. I just come to know when people have been appointed, you look at their CV, you ask yourself, where have they been? Where have they been? What have they been doing? If they are part of the association, probably when they are given chance to be panelists, that's when you hear. But it is now, time is now where we need to start profiling our members. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ronald. Tadeo and Helen, do you want to ask your questions together, and then we can get back to our panel?
Yes, I am ready to ask mine.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Raymond. My question goes to Ronald, the Vice President. And I salute all the candidates and thank them for the good presentations. My question to Ronald, the VP, the roles of the GC are very much voluntary. As Irene said, and as you've said, there's no remuneration and they are voluntary. And so as VP, you expected to stand by the president, by her side all the time. I wanted to know that I don't know, I've been in PRAU for a while, but I've not really got to know you very well. I wanted you to convince me as a member of PRAU that you'll be readily available and, because I've not seen you really be active in PRAU activities. Probably it may be my bad, but can you convince me that you have the spirit and the heart to work as a volunteer on the Governing Council as the Vice President? And also, what is your leadership style? Thank you.
Tadeo, do you want to also go? Because they said that you ask at once.
I think we lost Tadeo. Oh yeah, he's back now. Tadeo, do you want to ask your question?
Thank you so much, Raymond. Sorry, I had a challenge with my network. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, Raymond?
Yes, I hear you well, Tadeo. Just go ahead with your question.
Oh, okay, thank you. First and foremost, Raymond, for me, it's congratulate the team. I don't have questions, but I think when you are unopposed already, I think we're just going to have thoughts, which our next leaders can be able to see how they integrate them in their strategic actions, because we already, which I think we already know who our president is and the vice and the secretary general. And so I congratulate the team. And my thoughts are around four things. One is the real touch of support and vibrancy to PR, I think, is very important to our association. Why I was just seeing, just for the turn up for this, we just had yesterday a very interesting debate, and the numbers, you saw the membership, and now we're about 19 of us, and we're talking about our president and vice president and secretary general, which are very critical, I want to say, because I'm very passionate about PRAU. There is something that we need to support our next leaders to grow and have members really dying to be part of the association and the activities. That's just one thing. Number two is the president did talk about resourcing and the value of the resources that come to the association. But I want to just kindly propose to the next GC that I think we might have to think outside the box to make sure that our balance sheet is really good. Because yes, membership is there, but we need to think of other strategic alternatives that are going to be able to contribute towards our resource envelope beyond just the membership. And that will attach a lot of meaning to associations. Now, the other aspect for me, for the next GC, is about the legislation. Yes, all of us are alluding to legislation, but sometimes legislation comes with strict regulation. And before you know it, you are crippled into what you'd be able to do. Now, as we are doing this legislation, I think it's very important, the time that we have, is to look at how do we strategically and tactically be able to grow an association and don't suffocate it. Because the vice president talked about two things which struck me. He talked about banging tables and then talked about electioneering. Now, it's very easy for you to face a lot of challenges in this season for any association if we are not really trading carefully, I must say. So we may need to think through, what do we need to push? Lastly is about the time. You know, we have 2 years. I wanted to hear from our leaders, my leaders, about concrete things in the 2 years, because my president and your team, we seem to be having little time. By the time we talk about these grand things, at the end of the 2 years, I want to see that we have something that we can be able to scratch. Partnerships is the last one for me, Raymond, is how do we have strategic partnerships? I want to underline the word business partnerships. Business partnerships just beyond saying we have had a sponsorship, but the value of in it. Because in the boardroom today, it's about, yes, we are giving subscription, we are putting these sponsorships to the association, but what's the return on investment? And how do we look at that? We might have 5 partnerships, but 5 partnerships that are really valuable can be able to drive an association from one end to the other. So those are just thoughts, Raymond. They are not questions, because we already have our leaders. Thank you. Over to you, Raymond.
All right, thank you so much, Tadeo. And I know that now our time is really fast spent, so we're going to try and sort of close down. But maybe we'll start with you, Stella. Respond to some of the questions that have been raised. I know you didn't respond to the question on legacy, so that's a question that maybe you want to respond to, and then we'll go to Ronald, and then we'll go to Irene after that.
All right. Thank you, Raymond. The question on legacy. In the beginning, I mentioned that under my office, one of the things we need to do, and I know the vice president also spoke on it, is to have a certain level of sustainability of how we do things at PRAU. Because 2 years is such a short term, sometimes for everything to be effected. But what's that one thing that I would like to see happen or leave behind? That is to ensure that PRAU has a standing secretariat team. With or without the active participation of the GC, things should be moving. So we shall benchmark on other associations, what is currently happening, and then also do resource mobilization over time to see how we can finance that aspect as we build a stronger team to run the association. It's my hope that once we have a team, a strong team that runs the day-to-day operations of the associations, we shall be in a better position to identify more opportunities in terms of how we can grow the association. Because from my experience serving in the recent 2 years is that when you have a full-time job and then you also have to run the association, sometimes you find that some things are not done at 100% as they should be. So the GC should perform an oversight role to ensure that we are able to fulfill the strategic plan of the association with support of the secretariat team. So for me, in terms of legacy, it's really making sure there's sustainability in how projects are done, so that even when elections are going, the terms are changing, there's a team behind that is running things, thinking how do we resource mobilize besides just membership payments and waiting for sponsors when we have events. How do we create sustainability in our projects, in how we run the day-to-day operations? Because the issue of stakeholder engagements all comes back to what human resource do you have to support you to do some of these things. So if we are able to fix the human resource issue, we may be able to also engage our members better. Thank you, Raymond.
All right, thank you so much, Stella. Final words from you, Ronald, and then we get to Irene.
Thank you so much, Raymond and members who kept on this call up to the end. I want to appreciate you, the election committee, the outgoing GC led by the president, who has been online, and I know she'll be part of the governing council that is coming, and of course to appreciate the passion that the GS has for the secretariat, which is core. I've seen it work. And also to appreciate the president, the incoming president, the vision that she has, that we shall really be behind her to push to ensure that this is realized. And also to give assurance to, there's a member who asked if I'll be available. I've been around PRAU since 2014. I'm not so much talkative. I only come participating, ensuring things are done, and I offered to come to PRAU having had experience from other associations and asked myself a big question: why is PRAU the way it is after all close to 50 years? Yet associations that started later are pushing, are progressing. So I come to support and give support. And another one, I was worried about banging tables. It could have been a misused word, but if we do not influence policy, no matter what we say, no matter how we will have a good, well-written strategic plan, still some things will be tricky. Probably in 100 days, we should have seen probably a draft constitution review. Probably would have seen plans for engagements and plans for fundraising, and as well would have seen a structured, structured secretariat. And then lastly, I believe that we should add value to our associations and wherever we go. So as a young person, as a young man that is coming on board to support I saw the challenges we went through to even get small job for communication. It was so challenging. That's why I'm passionate about mentorship, passionate about the visibility of PRAU and the engagement of the young people to give them career, and very passionate about the curriculum that they are being exposed to right now. But otherwise, I want to appreciate the opportunity given to me, and I look forward. I know if I don't get an opportunity probably to speak again tomorrow, I want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Thank you so much, Raymond.
Okay, Ray, is
Thank
it?
you so much. Yes, Irene, it's your turn now.
Okay, thank you. I'm in a room that is freezing. Yeah, so I'll start with, first of all, appreciating all the people who have joined the call and who have taken part in this Q&A session. Thank you so much for giving us your time, your good thoughts. Today, we thank you for the recommendations that you've shared with us. They are very important. And of course, like I mentioned before, this is a membership association. So we would wish to get as many inputs as possible from all of you, because we want to champion what your interests are for the association and also for growing this together. We are in this together and we cannot do everything alone. So we rely basically on your support as well. And we appreciate all the thoughts. I've taken note of them, and indeed some of them are part of what we plan to do, and others we will keep getting and soliciting from the membership as time goes by. Yeah, so in terms of legacy, of course, I'm a Christian woman. I usually say, even the Bible is clear, we will be known by our works and also seen by the fruits of our labor. So for me, it's not how much I will do, but literally the accomplishments at the end of the term should be able to speak for us. And that's probably where we'll form our legacy. What shall we be known for? Or what shall we be remembered for? Let this be seen through our accomplishments, and it's our best desire that we achieve everything that we've laid down in our manifestos, but also that we add value to the association, and also that the members feel blessed through our services and the ministry that we will be doing during our term of office. So literally, we want to solicit so much input from all of you members, and we should be able to serve your interests and also deliver on your expectations. That should form our legacy. I think I will not have more time to sit in this room anymore. And like I mentioned here at the beginning, I'm in Hoima and I have to come to Kampala, because also remember, tomorrow we have an AGM and I would wish to take part. So allow me end it at this so that I sign out and then go down and start my journey to Kampala. I want to thank the Electoral Commission. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf and your team, for supporting us through this process. And I want to thank the current KC and also the Secretariat, Raymond, has also been very supportive. President Tina is so supportive. And thanks to all the people and all my colleagues, Tadewa and Stella, who are on the call with me for this Q&A, plus all the members who have labored to log on. And it's no doubt, I won't say there's not so much interest among the members, but there is something around the interest that members have in the association. People need to be the Chibulamu vibe. I think we still need some more vibe so that people can have as much interest as possible in the association activities and plan to take part. So I would have expected to see more participation, more members. Yesterday were over 57. Today the turn-up was around 20 something, yet we are so many members. So probably something is not happening well, but we pray that with time, people will pick interest and also make the association a little more vibrant. And of course, this is something that we look forward to doing together. I thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me. And just like my colleague wished you a blessed Easter, in case we don't get any more time to speak, I wish you a blessed Easter. Thank you, and over.
All right. Thank you so much, Irene, and thank you so much for keeping us this long, for being very engaging with your program for PRAU. I think our final order of business is ask Tina to make our concluding remarks, and then we will each be left to our Fridays.
Thank you so much, Raymond. Thank you very much to everybody on the call as well. I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude, first and foremost, to the Electoral Commission for their tireless effort throughout this process of campaigns, nominations, and elections. They've been really instrumental in ensuring that we have a campaign that is premised on integrity. I'm really glad that we continue to maintain the highest standard of ethical practice when it comes to nominations of our next leaders in PRAU. So I want to thank them so much for really driving that effort and making sure that our campaign period is one that's characterized as one that's filled with integrity. So thank you very much to the Electoral Commission for everything. I'd like to thank Raymond so much for moderating this session so effectively. I think it's been a brilliant discussion, well led by yourself. I'd like to thank the candidates for putting themselves forward. It is an extremely commendable attribute to have, putting yourself out there for service, to, you know, uplift our association is something that a lot of us take pride in. We're really proud of you. We're proud of your, you know, putting yourself forward to serve our great association and to contribute to the growth of the PR industry is really quite commendable. So thank you very much for, you know, putting yourselves out there. Thank you for sharing some of your dreams and passions and vision for PRAU and where you hope it will be. I would like to pledge my absolute support to the incoming GC as the incoming immediate past president. I pledge my full support. I will sit on the governing council, so I'll make sure that I guide accordingly to ensure the continued growth of our association. I'd like to also thank the Secretariat. It's been a very hectic period, but they've handled it with so much grace and finesse. So thank you very much to the Secretariat for all the work you've done during this period. I know there's a lot going on with preparations for the outgoing GC and the incoming GC, but you've handled it so well. So thank you very much to the Secretariat. I'd like to lastly thank the PRAU members. This is our collective association. This is our dream to continue to harness, to make sure that we have the PRAU that we all want, a PRAU that we're all proud of. And I just want to thank you all for the wonderful period we've had, generally in my reign, which I'll talk more about tomorrow, but just as a preamble, generally in my reign and in the GC's, outgoing GC's reign, you've been extremely supportive, you've been cheerleaders, and I urge you to continue that spirit with the next governing council that's coming on board. I thank you for your active participation during this period. I thank you for your professionalism. And let's continue growing PR. Let's continue growing PRAU. It's ours, and we can only grow it stronger together. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone that's joined us. I think that's it. Have yourselves a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you.
Great weekend too.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Safe journey, our president.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Get
Bye.
ready.
Good luck tomorrow.
Get ready for the
Nice weekend.
Senior
Okay.
Helen,
Thank
don't
you.
miss tomorrow.
I'll try, but I'm in Ginger, but I'll try. Yes.
Please try.
I'm at Chad on the
You,
rugby.
you need to give me
I know.
some 100
Mania Chad on
million,
the
some of
rugby.
the 100